Welcome to our episode of Borrowing Saturdays, and this week I decided to take a look at the death ships of Dr. Fu Manchu, which I got in this 25 Gangster Classics collection. And I have to admit, I don't know why this episode's here, because yeah, this is an episode from The Adventures of Dr. Fu Manchu from 1956/57, I want to say, where they produced 13 episodes. So it's not a very long series. They only did one season, so obviously it didn't do very well. And I don't even feel like really getting into the racism discussion we could have with this series, because it's just like, it's from 1956. I mean, it sort of just comes with the territory when you're looking at stuff this old. So, I just don't want to, spend a lot of time criticizing it for it. I kind of expected it going into the episode as soon as I realized, we were going to be talking about a Chinese villain. At least I assume based on the name he's meant to be Chinese, even though the name itself is completely meaningless. And it's just basically some made-up words meant to sound like a Chinese name. So yeah. Like, they couldn't even get a real name for the villain. And this is based on a book series that I want to say is even older, so yeah. I'm not surprised it'd be very offensive, especially to more modern sensibilities. With having a white guy, playing a Chinese character and having such a ridiculous mustache. Though I suppose it is iconic to the character, so I don't know how to feel about that. As far as this episode goes, basically Dr. Fu Manchu sent some minions to steal some germs from a lab in California, and now they're bringing them to him at his location. He's going to move them further on to Hong Kong, and eventually let the Eastern powers get a hold of them so they can think the West is trying to start germ warfare with them, and kick off actual germ warfare. Because I guess these viruses have, markers in them that prove they're made by a lab in the United States, and be unmistakable as anything other than, a germ warfare agent. So, yeah, basically Dr. Fu Manchu likes to just cause chaos, death, and destruction, and then take advantage of it, I guess. Sort of like the elusive man Mass Effect. Basically a parasite that feeds on everyone else. Not a very likable character. He is the villain after all. Though I do have to ask what he's a doctor of, and please don't tell me it's children's cards games.
Mr. Crowler.
Did you just call me Mister?
Oh, sorry, I'm new here, Mrs.
I have a PhD in dueling. I've earned the title Doctor, thank you.
But as far as the overall episode goes, I just don't like it. It's very boring. Most of the actors, deliver their lines in a very, impassionate way. So you don't really get invested in any of the characters. And since it's a TV episode that's like 30 minutes, it's meant to be for like a 30-minute segment, it's only like 25 to 26 minutes long. And that's if you include the opening and closing bits. So they basically have to fit, an entire episode into like 22, 23 minutes. So they're basically just jumping from scene to scene to scene really quickly. So I think if this series had maybe been like an hour long, it may have worked out better for it. Because it would have had a chance to let the actors do some actual acting. Instead, all their dialogue basically has to be to serve the purpose of, just moving the episode along as quickly as possible without giving us any real major characterization. And without characters, it's hard to care. I'm not surprised this series, only has one season and 13 episodes where people just gave up on it. I guess it was successful enough to last, for us get to a season ending, but not really sustain itself.
Please help me.
The germs?
Obviously.